everyone, welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Clark Wolf, and this is our daily show bringing you the latest in movie news with insight into what it all means. Joining me, as always, is AMC Movie News Editor-in-Chief John Campea. John, good morning.
Good morning, Clark. Greetings and salutations, everybody, on this fine day.
Yes, sir. And also joining us this morning is film critic from JoBlo.com and horror site ArrowInTheHead.com, Jimmy O. Jimmy, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Director Guillermo del Toro's highly anticipated new film, Pacific Rim, opens in AMC theaters everywhere this Thursday night. However, it seems whenever reporters have an opportunity to talk to the filmmaker, the topic of Hellboy 3 always seems to come up. Recently, Collider.com had a chance to sit down with Del Toro and asked him about the possibilities of seeing a third installment of the Hellboy franchise. His response wasn't what fans were hoping for, as he said this: "It's very unlikely it'll happen because you need things to converge so strongly. Producer Larry Gordon, Universal, the rights, Ron Perlman's and mine's availability, comic creator Mike Mignola's blessing. We have pieces of that, but we don't have all of that. You need so many things to confluence, and then you need about $150 million. The way Hellboy 1 and Hellboy 2 are very different from each other, Hellboy 3 is different enough from the other two that it would feel like it wasn't the same universe in scale. He does become the beast of the apocalypse, but seeing the apocalypse, it's getting more and more. The bar is raised higher and higher every year. Mass destruction is becoming the sport of the summer." John, what do you make of these comments?
Disappointing, and they're disappointing for a couple reasons. One, I've said for a long time that I don't believe we're going to see a Hellboy 3, but that doesn't mean I don't really want to see Hellboy 3. Damn right I want to see Hellboy 3, so it's disappointing at that level. But here's the other thing that really disappoints me about this. This whole notion that you need $150 million to make a Hellboy movie. The whole notion that, okay, now if you're going to do a blockbuster film, you have to have big mass city destruction scenes and spend $150, $200 million. Nonsense. That's absolute nonsense. The first Hellboy movie, which is my favorite of the Hellboy films so far, cost them $60 million to make. $60 million to make. There's a good amount of effects in that. There's a lot of really good action. But my favorite parts of both the Hellboy films aren't the high spectacle. I mean, I love the high spectacle stuff, sure. But it's the interactions between Hellboy and Abe. It's the interactions between the characters. These characters are so great. Hellboy is such a great character. It's funny, it's entertaining, it's engaging. And every once in a while he pulls out a big gun. That's great. And you can make that movie for $60 million. You can make that movie for $70 million. You don't have to make a $150 million, $200 million film just because it's Hellboy. You don't have to do that. Give us this character again. And this whole notion that, oh no, if you want to make a really successful film, gotta spend $250 million. Really? Let me run down some numbers for you. Just from last year. Here are some films that were all nominated for Best Picture last year, okay? These are great films, all right? Argo made $232 million at the box office on a $44 million budget. Django Unchained made $423 million on a $100 million budget. Lincoln, $275 million on a $66 million budget. Silver Linings Playbook, $236 million on a $21 million budget. And most of that was just in star salary. Les Miserables, best example of this, $437 million on a $61 million budget. You don't have to make movies for $150 million or $200 million. You've done it cheaper with Hellboy before. You can do it again. I do not know where this mentality is coming from. Just make good movies, Guillermo. You can do it. Let's do it. Anyway.
Now,
Jimmy,
there is a difference between all of those movies you named and a big summer blockbuster. I'm going to say that right now. I agree with you. I think movies can be made for a lot cheaper than they are. But I think it's a lot more than that. I think people tend to take something out of context and say, okay, he probably was just grabbing a number out of his head. There's a lot of stuff that's going on here. I want to see a Hellboy 3 more than anybody. I love Del Toro professionally and personally. He's amazing. But I think there's so much more to it than that. That's why we won't see it. He's got so much on his plate. And I don't know if, and I don't know if, sadly, I don't think, if I remember correctly, Hellboy 2 wasn't a huge success.
No, it wasn't a huge success, but made for under $100 million, and it was fun. And it was great.
Yeah.
And I just don't know that. I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, what's really stopping Hellboy isn't just $150 million.
No, it's not.
Del Toro is one of the busiest dudes in the business.
He is.
He's busier than Samuel L. Jackson, for heaven's sakes.
Absolutely. And deservedly so. He's one of the most talented men in this business. And I go see Pacific Rim. That's what I want. I want Pacific Rim to be a huge, massive hit. So he can make whatever the heck he wants.
And here's the thing. Is Pacific Rim suddenly makes $500 million worldwide, you might hear other studios wanting to talk about Hellboy 3 again.
Yes, absolutely. That may be a deal breaker.
All right.
The new Neill Blomkamp film Elysium, which stars Matt Damon and Jodie Foster, opens in AMC theaters everywhere on August 9th, but the District 9 director is already hard at work on his next project titled Chappie. Like District 9, his new film is based on one of his early short films, in this case his 2004 short TETRA VAAL about South African robotic police force. You can see a link to the short film in the video description below. Actor Charlotte Copley, who starred in District 9 and also the upcoming Elysium, is already on board, and it looks like the human leading role may be going to Slumdog Millionaire star Dev Patel. Patel can currently be seen on the TV series Newsroom. Jimmy, how is Chappie looking to you?
No, look, it looks great. The thing is, I like what he's bringing to sci-fi. I like the style, but I've seen about, I think, 20 minutes of Elysium, and I'm really stoked about it. I think it's one of the films I'm really more excited about than any other this year. That said, it does kind of feel like he's almost making a gritty sci-fi trilogy. I get that feeling. I know they're not related, but it all feels similar. So I'm kind of curious to see where he would go after this. I am looking forward to it. The cast is great. I like Dev. I think he's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
really I think he's a good choice. So, yeah, bring it on.
Look, Elysium also for me is one of the films I'm very stoked about. I'm very excited about seeing.
Yeah.
I've said this before about Blomkamp, though. I'm getting a little bit nervous that his movies are feeling a little bit homogenized. I mean, it's like, okay, if you turn off the volume and just look at the trailers for Elysium, right? It just feels like another version of District 9.
Yeah, a little more expensive version.
Yeah, a little more expensive version.
That's why it's like it feels like a trilogy, you know?
Yeah, and I love District 9. I mean, it's amazing. But now I look at, especially if you watch the short, Terra VAAL.
Yeah.
It looks it's in the South African slums, the grittiness, the dirtiness, blah, blah, blah. It looks like just another version of District 9.
Yeah, but again, look at what he's doing with that. Look at that short. Looks amazing.
Oh,
it looks
visually
better than,
it's great.
Yeah.
Visually it's great. He's
I think
an
there's
amazing
another
visual effects
story
artist.
there. I really do.
Oh, absolutely. I think there's two. But what I would like to see him do, look, I'm all for
a romantic comedy with Sandra Bullock. That'd be awesome.
I'd see that.
I
wouldn't
love. Look, when they first mentioned his name as the potential director for Halo back in the day, before he had ever directed a thing, never even assistant directed on anything, I was like, no, wrong choice. Wrong choice. Let him cut his teeth on stuff that he's more familiar with and there's more his. And then he did District 9 based on his own short film.
Yeah.
Perfect way to get started. And look at the result. It was amazing. Now he does something like Elysium. Okay, still staying in his comfort zone. Okay, cool. Okay, but now we're getting to your third film. I'd love to see him move outside of his comfort zone, make something that's not based on his own short story that he did 10 years ago, and try something a little bit different. Don't get me wrong. That doesn't mean Chappie isn't going to be amazing, and it doesn't mean that I'm not going to be super stoked to see it, because I am. I'm just saying, I'd love to see this guy who has now shown us all this potential move outside your comfort zone a little bit. Show us something a little bit. Stay with sci-fi if you want. Just give us something a little bit different. That's all.
Let's give him 3 films. Let's see where it goes.
Let's see where it goes up to that. All right, folks, we've reached that part of the show for buy or sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Clark's got a few other items in the world of movie news that she's going to list off, and Jimmy and I are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Clark, what do we got?
Actor Stellan Skarsgard seems to be going to extremes in his upcoming movies. On the one hand, you'll see him in the new Lars von Trier sexually explicit film Nymphomaniac, and now it seems he's signed on for the new Kenneth Branagh live-action Cinderella, starring alongside Lily James, Game of Thrones Richard Madden, Cate Blanchett, and Helena Bonham Carter. John, buy or sell Skarsgard joining Cinderella?
Gotta buy it. I'll buy Skarsgard in anything. This guy's really cool. Now, of course, we all recognize him from Thor, where he worked worked with director Kenneth Branagh already, and they worked very well together. My favorite performance of his would probably be Good Will Hunting. I loved him in that film, and you know he's got this kid running around in the business too. What's his name? The True Blood dude.
That one dude.
Alex,
yeah.
So things are going well in the Skarsgård's house. Yeah, so I think this sounds really fun. I think this sounds great. So yeah, for me, it's a buy. Jimmy?
That's an absolute buy. I don't think I've ever seen him give a performance that I've seen him in bad films, but I don't think I've ever seen him give a bad performance per se.
Yeah.
I can't think of one offhand. So, but have anything with him.
He was really good in Girl with the Dragon Tattoo as well.
Oh yeah,
he was really good.
Yeah,
in
he
that.
was.
Yeah.
I agree.
You know that great-looking Forrest Whitaker film, The Butler, set to hit AMC theaters on August 16th? Well, it might have to change its title. The film is a look at the life of Cecil Gaines, who served 8 presidents as the White House's head butler from 1952 to 1986, and had a unique front-row seat as political and racial history was made. However, Warner Brothers is blocking the Weinstein Company from using the title The Butler because they have another film with the same title already registered. That movie is a 1916 short film in the WB library. Does it sound ridiculous that a big studio can block another studio from using a simple title like The Butler just because they have a short film made almost 100 years ago with the same name? Well, an MPAA arbitration committee doesn't think so and upheld the WB's claims against the Weinstein film. Jimmy, buy or sell Warner Brothers blocking the Weinstein Company from using the title The Butler?
I sell that. I don't get it. I mean, I just don't understand it. How many times do we have the exact same premise come out? You know, let alone a title from 1913?
Yeah, 1916.
1916, and I don't get it. It seems like I think there's more to it than that. I really do. I think there's something going on. Maybe just I don't know. Maybe it's I don't want to say the word, but it's some kind of contest between the two studios. You know?
A manhood contest.
Yes.
I gotta sell this. Look. On the one hand, there's nothing that says one studio has to help out another studio by giving rights away. Nothing says that. Okay, I get it. And you also can make an argument. Okay, you got to protect your own intellectual property. I get that. But tell me, what money are you going to lose, Warner Brothers, from your 1916 short film that's nobody has ever heard of if another film comes out with the title? Yeah. This is just being a bully. It's just being a bully. And if you believe Harvey Weinstein, he was on a CBS talk show the other day, and he says, I'm willing to testify to this in court. He said, I had representatives from Warner Brothers come to me and says, if you're willing to give up the rights that you hold to The Hobbit, we'll let you use The Butler.
See?
So there's obviously some nonsense going on here. So look, if WB had a movie out 15 years ago called The Butler, and hey, they're still making sales on DVD, yeah, protect your title. This is a short film from 1916 that no one's ever heard of. This is just Warner Brothers wanting to stick it. Wanting to stick it. And you know what? I mean, hey, it's their right. It's their right. The MPA Arbitration Board held it up. It's their right to do it. But come on. Let them use the title.
Kids in the schoolyard fighting.
I actually read that Lee Daniels was going to make his plea to Warner Brothers himself. Like the fact that the director is begging to please let me release my movie with the title that it has over this is
I just don't understand the downside for Warner Brothers in letting me use the title.
I don't either.
The new and final poster for the upcoming film The Mortal Instruments, City of Bones, has hit online that you can see here. Set in contemporary New York City, a seemingly ordinary teenager, Clary Frey, Lily Collins, discovers she is the descendant of a line of shadow hunters, a secret cadre of young half-angel warriors locked in an ancient battle to protect our world from demons. After the disappearance of her mother, Lena Headey, Clary must join forces with a group of shadow hunters who introduces her to a dangerous alternate New York called Downworld, filled with demons, warlocks, vampires, werewolves, and other deadly creatures. Based on the worldwide best-selling book series, The Mortal Instruments hits AMC theaters everywhere on August 21st. John, buy or sell this new poster?
Even though it looks kind of standard in many ways, I buy it. I like the color scheme. Artistically, I like it. I know a lot of people don't. But I look at it and think, hey, yeah, this kind of attracts my eye. I dig the poster. Now, the movie as a whole, okay, so as somebody who has not read the books, all right? So the books may be the greatest stories ever told. I haven't read them, full disclosure, okay? But I'm watching the trailers, and from an outsider's point of view, who does not know the books, it kind of looks and feels like a Twilight wannabe film. Oh, the
Kinda?
supernatural, kind of supernatural with this ordinary girl who finds out there's something special about her due to this supernatural hunk dude who's gonna sweep her away and introduce this whole new world. And then look, I remember watching this trailer, and at the end of the trailer I saw they have werewolves too.
Yeah.
The werewolves come in. I'm like, is this a joke? I'm looking around expecting that there's gonna be cameras on me because I'm being punked. I mean, is this a joke? So look, I know fans of the book may say to me, hey, this Mortal Instruments is nothing like Twilight. And I will believe you completely. They could be two completely different movies, completely different stories. But what you can't argue with is that from an outsider's point of view who doesn't know Mortal Instruments, just watching these trailers, you can't deny that we kind of get this, I feel like we've seen this before sort of feeling. So I'm going to give the movie a shot. I like the cast in it, actually. I really do like the cast.
I like Lily Collins. I'm excited to see her.
And I like anything sci-fi. I'm a huge sci-fi geek, so that's why I gave all the Twilight films a chance, because I love sci-fi. I'll eat it up. So I'm going to give this a shot, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they do it. I just hope the movie turns out different than what the feeling I'm getting from the trailers myself personally. Jimmy, what do you think?
I just caught Twilight Breaking Dawn, part of it on cable, and I'm sorry, I can't do it. I just can't do it. But with that said, I like the cast. The poster is fine. I sell it. I'm not blown away. It's nothing. It's not getting me to have any sort of feeling for this film whatsoever. Nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Eric Johnson and Paul Tamassi, two of the writers of the Academy Award-winning film The Fighter, have just picked up the movie rights to the upcoming book Boston Strong, an upcoming book by Casey Sherman and Boston Herald reporter Dave Wedge that looks at the city's reaction to the deadly April 15th attacks at the Boston Marathon finish line and the search for the brothers responsible. Jimmy, buy or sell Boston Strong being developed as a film by the writers of The Fighter?
I buy the writers. I question whether it is the right time to do it. I think it's a bit too early. I know with United 93, about 9/11, I think it was a modest success. It made a little bit of money, but it wasn't a huge success because I think a lot of people, like me personally, I didn't want to live through that again. And I don't know if I just think it's too early. I think wait 5 years, see where we are then. Mm-hmm. But good choices for writers. I like The Fighter. I like the script. So, but really now?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm going to buy it. I think it's a story that should be told, and let's face it too. Like, just because the writers just bought the rights, that means probably looking at a year to write and develop it. Then if they can sell it, and then it goes into production. So even if everything happened without a scene, we're probably still 2 or 3 years away from such a movie coming out, right?
True.
But I'm not a believer in too soon. I'm actually somebody who believes, no, let's tell these stories. And I really like the take on it's not the hunt for these brothers. I like the way it's described, that it's looking at the city and how it reacted. And I think there's something really inspirational in that, the way they could do it. Or it could be glamorized, capitalizing on a tragedy. I mean, I don't know. It could go one way or the other. I'm hoping for the best for it, though. So for me, it's going to be a buy.
No.
All right, folks, we reached that part of the show for Mailbag. Listen, if you've got a topic or a question that you'd like us to address on the show, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Now, we get a lot of emails every day, and we can only get to a couple, but we do our best, so send them on in. Right now, Clark's got a few messages pulled out of the mailbag. So, Clark, what do we have?
Wally Ike G writes, "Hello, John. My name is Wally. I watch your show every day.
Awesome.
My question is, after the mixed reviews for Man of Steel and the critical success of Pacific Rim so far, don't you think it would be a good idea to let Guillermo del Toro direct Justice League with a script from Travis Beachman? He has plenty of experience from Blade and Hellboy."
Before I throw it over to Jimmy, who's going to denounce me as a heretic, hell no. I do not want Guillermo del Toro directing a Justice League film, and here's why. This is kind of the same argument I made about the whole idea about Joss Whedon directing a Batman film. Now, if you remember, I completely love Joss Whedon. I think Avengers is the greatest comic book film ever made. I've watched that film like 85 times. I love Whedon. I love Serenity. I love Firefly. But one of the things that makes Whedon so great is his style. his style is part of the thing that makes his stuff so entertaining and so wonderful. That wink, wink, nudge you in the ribs kind of feel, even in the midst of really serious stuff. There's something that he's able to bring that a lot of filmmakers just aren't capable of. But I just don't think that that particular style is a fit for this era of Batman. I don't think that works for Batman. Yeah, look, I think Steven Spielberg's the greatest filmmaker that ever lived, but I don't think he's the right fit for everything. With Guillermo del Toro, I feel the same way. Guillermo is a brilliant filmmaker, and I love his films, but part of what makes him so brilliant and his story so great is that signature style he has. Now, there's a difference between having the same style and having the same substance. Like, I was just complaining a little bit that Neill Blomkamp maybe has a little bit too much same substance, same style. Yeah. But Guillermo's got a style, but always different substance, right? Whether you look at Pan's Labyrinth or then to Hellboy
Devil's
or
Backbone.
Blade.
Completely different.
Yeah, completely different films, but always with his signature style. And just my feeling is I don't think that awesome signature style of Guillermo is necessarily a good fit for something like Justice League. Not a matter of talent, because all the talent in the world is there. And I certainly wouldn't cry myself to sleep if I found out he was doing it. I just don't see it as a fit. That's all. As great as he is, I just don't see it as a fit. Jimmy, how do you see it?
Believe it or not, I tend to agree with you.
What?
I'm shocked.
Really?
Well, simply because I think Del Toro is a genius. I think he's one of the best filmmakers in the world. But I don't think it fits at all. I like when he does his original ideas. When he brings that kind of flair that he can do. I can't imagine anyone doing Pan's Labyrinth like he did.
Oh, no way.
It seems like going into that world, you could probably get another director who maybe can get into the Dark Knight and I don't think he's the right fit, and I don't think he would want to do it. Personally,
I agree.
Yeah,
no, I don't think he's one he'd want to do either.
No, not at all.
And I make 3.
All right.
I'm with both of you. Jordan Macchio writes, "Hey guys, love your show. Since we're in the era of PG-13 movies, do you think that the Terminator reboot will be rated PG-13 or R? Thanks, and keep up the great work."
Don't mind me, I just spilled water all over myself.
Oh my goodness.
I couldn't believe I agreed with you.
Yep, sure did. Okay, so here's the thing. I am one of these guys, like, you've seen me on this show recently talk about certain movies that I absolutely believe should be rated R. A Deadpool should absolutely be rated R, and there are other films that absolutely be rated R. But that being said, I don't believe Terminator has to be rated R. Here's a great example. The 4th Die Hard film, the one with Timothy Olyphant.
Yeah, Live Free or Die Hard.
Now, that one was PG-13, and everybody got so angry when they found it was going to be PG-13. It's got to be R, it's got to be R. Well, guess what? That Die Hard movie wasn't that great, but its not greatness had nothing to do with the fact that it wasn't rated R. I thought there was still great action in it. I thought there was still great violence. They just found a way to do it in such a way that it just happened to be PG-13 instead of R, and I didn't think it hurt because of it. Look at Transformers. Transformers is PG-13, and we got Optimus Prime taking his bladed arm and gutting other Transformers. Now, granted, they're robots and stuff like that, but that's why I think you can get away with high-intensity, high violence in a Terminator film, depending on which way they're going to go with it, because robot-on-robot violence, they let you do beheadings and whatever you want to do, and it's still PG-13 because it's not necessarily human. And with the human violence, you can still do a lot of human violence. So I'm going to say I would like it to be R, but I'm totally fine with the PG-13 Terminator because there's still a lot you can do, and I don't think it would hurt it all that much. Jimmy, how do you see it?
You know, I watched Terminator 2 recently, and to be honest, I don't remember a lot of gore. I don't remember it being all that gory. Honestly, if that were made today, I think it'd probably be a PG-13.
Oh, yeah, if that was released today, absolutely it's PG-13.
So is it necessary to make a great Terminator movie R? No, but I'm like you. I would kind of like to see a little bit.
Me too.
You know, I'd like to see digging into the eye, changing. I love that scene, man. From the first one, that was amazing.
Yeah.
But I think it's fine, PG-13. I'd prefer R.
Yeah.
Andrew McFarland writes, "Hi everyone at AMC Movie Talk. I really love the show. My question is about Assassin's Creed the movie. I heard a rumor that 20th Century Fox was helping to produce it. I hope that's not true because I do not want to watch another Dragon Ball Evolution. Myself, being a huge Dragon Ball fan, found it to be an abomination that never should have been made. I just hope the Assassin's Creed does not turn out the same way."
Yeah, okay, well, a couple things. Technically speaking, I believe it's Regency. I think it's Regency is the studio that's doing the that's actually producing the film. Now, Regency has an exclusive. Regency is located on the Fox lot. They have an exclusive distribution deal with Fox that extends through 2022, I believe. And Fox just recently bought a 20% ownership stake in the company. So yes, in many ways, Fox will be distributing. They're part owners of that company. In some ways, yes, you can say that Fox is doing it. But let's not forget, yes, there's that Dragon Ball Z abomination, but every studio has its own little dirty closet of abomination films. Let's admit it, they all do. Yeah. And Fox is, I mean, we just talked about one of the best films last year, Lincoln. Fox also did Lincoln. Fox did Chronicle, which was damn cool. Fox has done a lot of great films. Yes, they've got some real pieces of crap, but every studio has real pieces of crap. I mean, that's just the way it is. Yeah. Fox is a fine studio. They'll do a fine job with it, I have no doubt. And, you know, it's also about who's producing, who's writing, all that kind of stuff. Just because they blew it on one film doesn't mean they're going to blow it on all of them. So I'm personally quite comfortable. I'm not going to say I'm jumping up and down about it, but I'm quite comfortable that Fox is involved with the Assassin's Creed movie. I think it'll be just fine. Jimmy, how do you see it?
I agree completely. You can't blame a studio necessarily for one film that was a horrendous piece of garbage. You know, you just can't do that. But yeah, I'm fine with them. I think they've grown. Like you said, they've made a lot of really great films lately. So yeah, I'm on board. Let's see what they have.
All right, folks. Well, that'll do it for us. We were all out of time. Thank you so much for joining us. Listen, before you do anything else, while I've got you, take a second and click that subscribe button. Become a subscriber to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It'll keep you up to date on everything going on in the world of movie news, and of course, our daily AMC Movie Talk show and our weekly AMC Mailbag show. And listen, while Jimmy's here, I might as well mention that being one of the writers and critics over at Air on the Head, we've got our annual Comic-Con Masters of the Web panel coming up this year, a special horror theme. Jimmy is going to be on that panel with several other amazing names from some of the best horror sites on the web. It's going to be great. Lionsgate's You're Next is also represented. We got the writer and the director from the film that's going to be on that panel with us. Make sure you join us. It's going to be on the Thursday morning at Comic-Con in room 24 ABC at 11:30 a.m. And also, later in the evening on Thursday night, we've got our AMC Movie Talk meet and greet. We're all going to be hanging out on the first floor bar at the Omni Hotel, which is right across the street from the convention center. And all of us involved with AMC Movie Talk are going to be there. So we're going to be there from 7 till 8:30. Come on by, have a drink, hang out with us, say hi. We'd love for you to come by and do that. Hey, listen, folks, there's a lot of great movies playing in AMC theaters right now. A lot of great ones. So head on over to www.amctheaters.com right now for your theater showtime and movie ticket information. Listen, if you want an audio-only version of this episode, look on down the description of this video and you'll see links to our iTunes and our Stitcher Radio. So, I want to thank, as always, our lovely host, Miss Clark Wolf. Clark, where can people find you online?
I am on the Twitters at Clark Wolf, Clark with an E, Wolf with an E, and Facebook, official Clark Wolf.
Jimmy O, where can people find you online?
Jimmy to the O on Twitter, and you can also find me on Facebook, James Oster.
And you can find me, I have no creative names. I'm just John Campea. You can find me on Twitter or Facebook. So thanks a lot for joining us. My name is John Campea for AMC Movie News, and until next time, bye-bye.